What's up, Shade Beasties? Ryan and Hank the Wvrm here. This is going to be my first scene report for Shade Beast TV, coming at you from Tucson, Arizona, with a little throwback relic of the Southern Arizona heavy music scene. This is from even long before my time in Arizona. I was to start off properly, I'm going to be talking to you about a band called Vomitus. Mighty Vomitus, from Tempe, Arizona, which is basically Phoenix to the rest of the country. Phoenix being the big sprawling clusterfuck of a whatever that it is. Tempe's nestled in there somewhere. Give it long enough, Phoenix is going to span from coast to coast the way they're going. Anyway, so we're talking about Vomitus, and they were active in southern Arizona, in Tempe, from around 1995 to 98. So back then I was living in Farmington, New Mexico, eking my way through high school, listening to bullshit metal like fucking Korn, and I don't know, I think the coolest thing I had discovered at that point was maybe some I Hate God. Living in a fucking cultural vacuum, and so I had no idea of all this stuff that was going on outside of very, very, very mainstream music. Trying to remedy that now, delving into the underground. But anyways, before I go off on these fucking tangents, so Vomitus was an awesome grindcore band that incorporated elements of crust and death metal into their sound. Criminally underrated. I'm sure most people have never heard of them. And what you hear in the background, I'm not sure how well you're able to hear this right now, but their long lost, unreleased full-length record, which is called The Galaxy of Thought, was recently released for the first time ever. It had never seen the light of day up until the end of last year. On an awesome pressing from 1974 Records called Pulse in the Dirt. So what this record has is their demo, Sudamov, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Sudamov, which was released in 1996, along with the unreleased Galaxy of Thought record. So now painting a more complete picture of what this band was all about, and hopefully giving them a little more much due exposure, now that this stuff is being put out. Other than the Sudamov demo and this full-length record, which is what's playing right now, the band also did a split with a band called Flux of Disorder in 1997. I'm not familiar with that band. And then they also appeared on a 4-way 7-inch split called Painkiller Volume 2. They were on that record with Bongzilla, Hellchild, and CST. But delving into what this band's all about, I mentioned that they're a grindcore band with a lot of elements of deathcore. Obviously, a close relationship, with fine line between grindcore and death. I think I just said fucking deathcore, and I didn't mean to fucking say that, because that's a whole nother thing that we won't even talk about right now. But awesome grindcore, just blistering, insane, fuzzed out, shredding, chainsaw guitars, thundering bass, insane blast beat percussion. And I think one of the really cool things about this band is the vocalist, who throws in a few different vocal styles with what he's doing. He's got the trademark guttural death metal mighty fucking growl, which he does very well, ranging up to some insane high-pitched shrieking that I think is kind of reminiscent of Seth Putnam. And then in between that, every once in a while he'll throw in kind of like a, just a blood-curdling scream, like insane, filthy, murky, sludgy kind of reminds me of Johnny Morrow from Iron Monkey a lot. So that's Steven on Vox, and from what I know, he went on to have a project called Wvrm that I'm going to look up later. I'm really not familiar with what they're doing. And then I also heard from a friend that he does experimental electronic music now. As far as the other members of the band, there's a guy called Aaron on bass that is still active in the Phoenix area under the name Lucky. And what I found is that he has a new project called Mosara that might be cool to check out. Dave, who is the guitarist, Dave is the guitarist. I'm not familiar with anything that he's currently active in. Might have kind of faded away from live music, or just doing low profile stuff. Both Steven and Jason, from what I told, moved out of state, and Jason, who is the drummer, has a project somewhere called EL. I don't know what it is, but there's the information for you if you want to check it out. I could just fucking chatter on all day, blah blah blah, but this is a release that I was really excited about when I heard about it. Like I said, this band predated my time in Tucson, my time in southern Arizona, and it was a cool thing to come up and kind of like see and hear something from a band from before the current scene, the current music community, that really, as far as their sound, it was before their time. I mean, they sound like this stuff could have been recorded yesterday, and it's 20 years old. One of the cool things about their approach to grindcore with the death metal and crust elements that I talked about before is, with crust and punk type shit in general, there's always a little bit of a political angle to, the themes and messages, lyrics and so forth, which is the case with this band, but they also bring in an element of spirituality and kind of like ethereal, philosophical sort of thematic material and sounds. This record breaks into sort of like what I think sounds a little bit like Middle Eastern spiritual music a little bit, as well as some sounds that are reminiscent of American Indian tribal sort of instrumentation, which is really fucking cool, because I mean that's not something that you get with grindcore very often at all. Usually it's just insane fucking fuck you, kill that, whatever. So that's kind of what I had to say about this. I've been meaning to do a scene report for Shade Beast for a while now, and I figured this would be a cool thing to talk about, and I'd throw that out there. I guarantee you I am much more eloquent and easy to follow writing, which is what I do more of. I fancy myself a writer. If you want to check some of that shit out, you can find me on Facebook. Just search Ryan Hank Wvrm, WVRM, and I'm ridiculously active on there, and through that you can find links to my blog that I occasionally update, other shit that I have going on, and information about my own musical projects. If you don't give a fuck about that, no worries. If you are interested in what I'm talking about with Vomitus here, the mighty Vomitus, you can find their record at 1974 Records, who is the one that, the label that put this out. 1974records.com, vomitusaz.bandcamp.com to stream and download via Bandcamp, and I'm sure they have links to buy the record as well. I'm going to shut the fuck up now and leave you to it. If I look back at this and I come off looking and sounding like a total fucking spastic mongoloid, I still might share it, I might not, I don't know, so we'll see. Until next time, Ryan and Hank the Wvrm, and this was Vomitus from Tempe, Arizona. Fuck yeah.